So here we are again. I must say I had a very refreshing spring break and I didn't touch the piano for a while. The result of which is there are things piling up that I need to learn. I have in a few weeks a violin piano duo recital. We're doing Beethoven C minor sonata and Schubert A and the Schoenberg Fantasy. And luckily my partner had a copy of my fingerings, or of the piano score with my fingerings and marks. And it's been, I have no idea how long it's been since I played the Schoenberg Fantasy. I really enjoy it. But I can't say I can hum it right now. I can't say I remember much about it, other than that it has a Viennese quality to it. And there are a lot of dancey elements that you might not, on first blush, recognize or think of in dealing with Schoenberg, and you would be wrong in that regard. That there's a lot of very interesting stuff, genre elements to it. But in any event, enough of preamble, I've got to get down to the nuts and bolts of figuring out what to do. First thing I noticed from my markings, I have very distinct, often illegible handwriting, but I wrote very big counts. So it's grave, it's 52 to the quarter note to begin with, in 4/4. That means if I count a second, 1, 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 52 is of course a little over 10% slower than that. 1, 2, we could do the math together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and since they're subdivisions, there's 32nd notes and 16ths. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that immediately gives me a sense of what the pace might be. So this is the violin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Here I am on the fourth measure, and I'm just trying to figure out what the notes are. It's not very difficult. It's just he's written a bass clef in the right-hand part, so I have to make sure that what I'm reading is in fact what I'm reading. A note could be either F flat, which would be very odd for Schoenberg to have written, or it could be a low A flat. And I very much suspect, if I'm reading correctly, that it's a low A flat, in which case it's actually the same note I had a moment ago, which makes perfect sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. With a retard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Anytime the language is complex like this, and you can't immediately say, oh, I know what that chord is, or whatever, spatial relationships and physical relationships have a lot to say about it. The linear relationship between notes, the choreography on the keyboard. So this chord moving to that. We have the C pivot, the outer notes rotate around that C. So we have, and this is going into 6. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. This is very interesting tremolo. I'm wondering if there's any way to make it easier. It's very easy to trip. It would be very easy to do this, but he's asking for this specific kind of tremolo. So it would be much easier if I could find it, what I call an inside-outside fingering. In other words, one where rather than having to easy. So it's too bad. It's just sometimes that's the case, that a composer will write something that is inherently more difficult than something else, and if that's the sonority he wants, then that's the sonority he gets. Can I do it? Such an odd little sensation. For the same reason I'm not crazy about 2-3 in general, that you can't use your larger muscular gestures very well. You've got side-by-side fingers that are oriented in the same way, so you get a limited amount of rotation. When I want a really powerful trill, I'll often favor 1 and 3, not for a black-white combination, for a white-black combination, for a white-white, for an all-black combination. But it's, for me, a favored fingering because it's large muscle based and rotationally based. 2-3, I can do 2 certainly, but I'm not going to be using as much rotation. And when I'm forced to go between 2 and 1-3, I pretty well lose any of that advantage, which is why going to something other than 2-1-3 might be in my best interest. So I could go 2-1-4, 2-1-5, or 3-1-5. 3-1-4 as well. See how easy it is to get off. Ideally for me, if it weren't terribly cumbersome, would be to put the thumb on the black note. Because the arm gets involved in that rotation. I may end up just doing 2-1-3. I think the fact is, playing a virtuosic tremolo is not what's specific. It does have the 3 little lines indicating roughly a 30-second note tremolo, but since he wrote trem rather than explicitly a bunch of 30-second notes, I think he leaves it to us to play something that gives us a sound effect rather than... The problem is, do I start faking it when I do it? In other words, do I start reversing it and doing this, which would be so much easier. Things where you think, look, this is such a small detail in a larger piece. How much energy can one devote to this sort of thing? But it is one of those little details that'll drive you crazy because you get there and you say, I don't feel very good about that. You know, this is something that should be. How odd. If I didn't have the other hand, this would be very easy. Definitely 2-1-3 is my least favorite. 1-2-4 works, but the C often doesn't speak. So I think I'm going to stick with, for now, 1-4, 2-1-4. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. It's only 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. That's correct. 1, 2, 3. question of reading the notes. I wasn't sure what clef it was on the end of measure 9, so it's another tremolo. Has a sort of indistinct kind of marking on downbeat of 10. It's got stems, eighth note stems with no particular pitch indication. So that could mean Schoenberg is asking for a hanging over of sound. He could have been more explicit. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. Okay. 12 is one such example that you have to be careful what the accidentals are, but once you have a gestural sense, it's very easy to play. 3, 3, and 1, legato it says. So I could look for a, actually I'm going to use 2 hands, because it's the easiest way to play a guaranteed legato. And the other hand is not involved, so the left hand comes up and helps out. 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I misunderstood a broken chord as a bar line, and I ran out of beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1. Incidentally, I should remind you, my partner Julian Ross has agreed that I'll bring this camera in and sometime tape our rehearsals. So this must sound rather peculiar. It sounds, if you're not used to this language, peculiar in any event. It fits together rather well. And hearing us fit it together, I think my process, no matter how well I manage to learn this part, won't make any sense if you don't have a strong sense of how it interacts with the violin part. So that's just a promise for what may come, that there will be clarity within this. 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Let's do that again. 1, 1, 2, and 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. There we go. 1, 2. And Schoenberg is terribly careful about marking dynamics. So I have piano, 1, pianissimo, wrong notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. One of those mysterious things where on measure 16 he writes 2 B flats in the right hand plus a natural right beside the lower B flat, which is completely dumbfounding for me. If there were a flat beforehand, a double flat, you know, something to cancel out one of the flats, so I see no reason why, unless it's an editor, that this should have a natural in parentheses. Maybe because there are no octaves beforehand. Let me make sure I haven't generalized too much at the beginning. We have ninths. have sevenths, ninth, seventh and ninth, seventh. So I can understand augmented octave, diminished octave. So to have suddenly a B flat makes very little sense. So I get the editors. This sounds so odd once you're used to other sonorities. So I'm going to use my executive decision power and make that a B flat. B natural, excuse me, for now. One, two. Alas, there's almost no room because of all the counting indications to write in fingerings. It's like anything, though. Once you familiarize yourself with the way it sounds and the way it feels, it starts to become familiar enough for it to stick. Okay, getting to one advantage of these loose pages is I can make page turns, practice page turns, work really well. So we're on measure 17. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, or 1. Okay, in case this kind of practice sounds chalk on board, screechy to you, this has to be done, of course, especially if there's this much counting necessary. It's doubly important because without the violin part to provide context and a sense of continuity, I'm really forced to identify with the identity of the piano part alone. If I were doing both parts, bop, bop, grand pause, oop, bop, bop, it's really helpful to know in this case that the notes are continuous. Going to pesante, which will be a little slower. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, here I need a fingering. 1, 2, 3, 5. 4, 2, 3, 4. Subito piano. 2, 3, 4, or in a retard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Con sordino. 1, 1. Più mosso. 80. Okay. a trusty metronome out here. Excuse me. Significantly faster. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's quite a lot faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, I'm not playing in time because I'm trying to figure out the rhythm first. It seems pretty simple at 25. It's the beats are missing. They're missing in both parts. So I play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Explicit here on 26, a held note, held D, and staccato lower voice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. 1. Interestingly, he's marked accent on the top voices. Then a sting, still within piano, on the answering voice on the second beat. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. All right. 1. 1, 2. There's several times in which he plays alternating chords where there's no physical suggestion, but I'm going to split it between the hands. It's just so much more sensible for me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. So happy that I have these countings marked in, with not only ands, but subdivisions thereof. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the violin is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4, 4, 4, 4. So 1, 2, 3. I think I'd better slow this down. This is the violin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And meanwhile, I'm going 1, 2. Sorry, 1, 2. How about that? It's an A minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3. And this is a simple half beat. 3. Okay, here's one instance where the hand feel is significant. Both hands go black, white, black, white, black, white. That's nice. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Repetition, huh? And the retard. So I have, let's go back to 29. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh, that's 2 and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Continuing to a poco minimoso, which who knows what that will be. Although the minimoso after that will be 46, which is slower than the beginning. So we have. For men now. So we have a rather dramatically different effect here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, and it's worth a reminder of what a 46 might be. Close enough. This is a little tough to calibrate with just a switch dial. Ah! Don't do this at home. Okay, this is 45. Yum, pop, 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 pop. 1. So now we have sextuplet notes, so on 37. 1, 2, 3, 2. So if we're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, molto ritenuto, lento. Okay, well, lento is exactly the same indication as minimoso. So minimoso is a comparative. Lento is a, shall we call it, an absolute indicator of tempo. Tempo is always relative, but here he's indicating two different, using two different indications for the same tempo, minimoso and lento. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and it's pianissimo. 1, 2. Luckily, even though you have to figure out what goes on here, there's more continuity in the rhythm, so once you have it, you have it. Okay, 42 is up an octave. 1, 2. 1, 1, and 2, and 3, and so. Okay, nice, it's actually an ostinato. So. Oops. It's way up here. Okay. So I need to practice the transition. Okay, well that's nice to know that this chord and that chord are the same chord, roughly. This inhabits the E on the second note of the trill. Same note, so this is just a reversal. Okay, let's get into that. Once more. Skip ahead to 45. 1. 1. 1. And 2. 3. Have to make sure that's correct. 1. And 2. And 3. 1. 2. 3. One, 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 two, three, and 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1, and 2. It's always nice to know in a piece like this that you're not going to be on tenorhooks all the time. You know, if this were sometimes Webern or someone like that, where you feel every last note requires intense concentration just to get it in the right place or to get the right notes. I have the feeling here this is going to is simplifying rather quickly. 1, and 2, 1, and 2. Whoops, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. What I'm saying and what I'm doing are two different things. I'm not counting correctly, but I played it correctly. So go figure. 1, and 1, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2. I meant to say and 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That should all pianissimo consordino. So measure 46 at the end, 3, 3, and 1, and 2, 3, and so 1, 2, and little fingering can't hurt. I notice it's remarkable to me, because I'm a fingering nut, how few fingerings I've indicated in here, which implies to me that just getting the chords, finding the right keys, is well defined, that there's not a whole lot of difficulty in getting from place to place. And once you make a decision about whether you're reading the right notes or not, they tend to be under your hand rather. In this case, I just wanted a fingering to get me to the second chord while holding the B. So I could have gone 1, 2 to 2, 5. I choose to go 1, 3 to 2, 5. 2, off, 3, 4, off. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, so it's in 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And suddenly into 56, which is somewhat faster. Not that much faster. Okay. 1 to 2, and this is in 9/8, so 1 to 2. I've got it all written out. 1, 2, and 3. 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. One, two, three, yes, 3, 1, 2. Okay. I admit to head scratching right now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 5 and 6 and 7, 8 and 8 and 9 and 1, 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 2, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. 2, 3, 4. Dum, bum, bum. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. Okay, well, Schoenberg doesn't make it easy, but I think he makes it easier when the violin is playing, because the violin ends up 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. All right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2. pulsy moment here, and you have to feel the pulse, and you have to feel the sense of what makes it work. Otherwise, it just seems completely arbitrary. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, I'm doing the polka rit, that's 55. 1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. Section. So, whoops. 1, 2, 3. Now it's. So the rhythm is the same. It's just a simple transposition. That's it. 2, 3, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Back to tempo primo, 52. 1, 2, 1, 3, 4. I better just make that clear. 1, 2, 3. 2. Back to piumoso. Indeterminate piumoso, but piumoso. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is something written not in my handwriting, so I don't know what it is. It says R13, and I don't know what that is, so I'll just have to shrug my shoulders. Every one of us has shorthands that help us to learn and encapsulate what we've learned for quicker recall, but since I don't know what that means, it's tough luck for me. I am going to, on 74, write 5 to 1 as a fingering, because I have this series of piled fourths. Which they look like fourths, but they feel like a third plus a tritone. So that's the kind of fingering I'll go for. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and I'll write fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. standard chord, not in standard functionality, but here's an E flat 7th chord inside an E7. 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't hurt because you recognize it so well that you can grab it easily. 3, 4, 2, 3. Or another E flat 7th chord. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Now, a lot of that was inaccurate. I just wanted to get a feel for da-da, 3, dum, bum, bum, da-da, bum, 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 da-da, bum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, ba-ba-ba-dum. So da da 2, da 3, da 4, da da 1, da 2, da 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 3, da 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 4, da 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 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 3, 3. Oh, there. But this is all largando. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, molto ritenuto into scherzando. Okay, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. 1. 2, 3, 1. 112. That's twice 76, 56. Da, da, da. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yup, up, 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 up. Da, 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 pop, 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 pop. So 1, 1, 1, 2. Oh, nothing like a little hemiola to keep you on your toes, right? 1, 2. Especially when you're playing the offbeat hemiola. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, when you're hacking away through this for the first time, there's no, presumably, unless you know it really well, you don't have a strong oral image of it. The result is you've got to be very careful to lay a track down in your memory to make it familiar, to make yourself recognize when you're doing it right and when you're doing it incorrectly. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2. Ah, I'm starting to recognize motives. Yeah. Interesting. Oops. 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. which indeterminate tempo. Okay, there's some specific issues of tying, and I have some hand divisions that seem to be potentially workable. Or someone else. No, me. It's supposed to hold all the way through the second measure of the Poco Tranquillo. So, if I did it in my right hand alone, I could do it actually. Now, maybe that would be easiest. Okay, the one advantage, the disadvantage of course, a lot of people couldn't reach that, and it's mildly uncomfortable for me, but no big deal. The major advantage of using the hand division of the composer is that the lines, as indicated, are clear. In other words, I hear the line, I feel the line in my soprano there. And the holding is a passive thing. If I change hands, it's a lot fancier. Even if I can do it, I don't think it's worth it right now. A lot of times I will think it's worth it. Oh, I think I cannot erase an electronic duplication of my handwriting from years ago. So I will just cross out the left hand and and drop my pencil while I'm at it. Yeah. There we go. That's interesting. because right now I'm just doing little snippets. It's going to take a little bit more doing to make it familiar enough that there will be long phrases and statements. But for now, I just want to be accurate with the little snippets. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Again, fingering indications sometimes are very helpful in reminding me what's going on. So measure 122, for example. I indicate 125. Again, it's a pile of force in the score. It doesn't feel like that in the body, so I would rather have an indication of what my body should anticipate. Yeah, roughly that. And subito pianissimo. And some fingerings actually written out, because these are all written under a slur. And what I've done is grouped in accordance with what helps that continuity. So that grouping, these two. The grouping is from the 8th note to the quarter. In other words, the faster motion deserves a simpler gesture, which is what I'm doing. Similarly speaking. As it would be in any more orthodox language, looking for where things change and where things stay the same is important. So the top voice is fairly static, the bottom voice is too. They just change it at different spots. Used to the, let's call them melodies. I will ease my way into this. Da 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 dum, pa da 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 dum, pa da da da, meno moso. simplicity. And Schoenberg has a bit of articulative intrigue in 139. It's slurs against the beats. 1, 2, 3, 2. Ooh. 1, da, da, ba, ba. So. Keep track of the fact that if this is in 6/8 and I'm seeing dotted eighth notes, those are half beats. So if I'm going 1, I guess I'd better keep track of my tempo. It's now 70. Oh, this should not be my default metronome. It's just too hard to use. Okay, this is roughly 70. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Make sure that's correct. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Not so very minimal. So 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I shouldn't make this too complicated. 1, Okay, tempo primo, a reprise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 4. 2. 1. triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, with concertina. 1, 2, 3, whoops. 1, 1, 2, 3. Yes, A natural. 1, 2, 3, A natural. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, it should be slurred. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah? He's divided up, made the hand division appropriate for a pianist, but hard to read. 1, 2, and I'm not 100% convinced his hand division is the best. I'm convinced it's not. So I'm going to take an extra note in the left hand. 1, 1, 2, 2. Oh yeah, let's see if that can be improved on. Maybe by one note, but is it worth it? Maybe it is. I think I'm going to take 2 notes in the left that he put in the right. And I'm going to agree with him for the rest of that passage. This is measure 162. So, right, 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 right. And that will mean I've written freely in here when the violinist plays pesante at 163, but let's get to that. 2, sorry, 2, 4. One, 2, 3. 4 molto retard at the end. Not that molto. There we go. Something like that. Okay, so if you actually sat through that, that must have been a very painful experience. But to me, it's, of course, the first step in getting this back in my fingers and especially in my ear and in my brain. The two significant things are, one, that the notes by themselves are often difficult to read on their own, just coming at you in real time. So you really have to find a gestural connection and an oral connection so that you know where you're going and what it feels like. The other is temporal, that time is divided up in a variety of ways, so it's really important to feel a strong sense of the pulse. I think it'll be significantly easier when my partner is added to the mix and we interact with one another. But even before that time, it's important for me to understand the nature of my rhythmic contributions and to make sure that there's a sense of ease about it. I think that Schoenberg spelled it out very clearly. It's just that on first hearing, and again, I have played this and heard this a long time ago, but on first hearing for you perhaps, it can seem completely arbitrary. It is in no way arbitrary. Everything is finely defined by Schoenberg, and it's just a question of hooking into his rationale and his motivation. And I think once that becomes clearer, then this piece is not only playable, but strangely listenable. So let's hope both of us get to there very quickly. See you soon.